Here is Donald Trump Jr. weighing in on Taylor Lorenz's journalism, where she uncovered justly, the creator of the Libs of TikTok account that is responsible for targeting harassment at LGBTQ teachers by reposting their social media posts in order to direct right-wing hatred towards them. Don Jr. in his regular selfie videos, I'm not really into the way that the fireplace, but to each their own.
Looks expensive.
I don't like that. I don't like that stone. Regardless, here he is with his take.
Who controls that account? Again, she's not showing up to Antifa homes and saying, "Hey, you looted, rioted, murdered, stole, arson, whatever." Like, none of that. She's not showing up to the teachers like, "It seems pretty clear you're trying to indoctrinate children." She won't question them. She shows up to a parody account. This should be grounds for a restraining order after sobbing on national TV like 2 weeks ago, claiming she's been a victim of harassment. She shows up at the house of relatives of just ordinary citizens and badgered them, according to...
There's something up with his eyes always. He has trouble keeping them open, but I also think he's reading here. He has this prepared.
Can we just define this private citizen? Like, how many followers did Libs of TikTok have? Over six figures, right?
Over 600,000 followers. But on top of that, this is a person who was regularly in contact with Ron DeSantis's press secretary on Twitter, had boasted previously about having a direct line to the Texas Attorney General's office. Right. Was literally influencing policy. I mean, weird that the two states that she happened to have direct contact with are also two of the states that have been ruthlessly going after LGBT
What
youth.
a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, and just look at Ron DeSantis's press secretaries. I must be dozens, if not, maybe even 100 tweets since Taylor Lorenz's story published, where she's flipping out over Libs of TikTok's identity being revealed. Also, I want to add that, and I spoke with Taylor about this, and she confirmed it 100%, even though he's claiming otherwise. Libs of TikTok also somehow had a direct line to Glenn Greenwald, very influential figure, whether you want to consider him a journalist, or, as Taylor Lorenz called him, an online influencer.
I was going to ask about that. So has Greenwald, what has he responded to these reports that this account has ties to DeSantis' office and stuff like that?
Of course.
He was very, very defensive, saying, "How could you?" He was making the same argument Trump Jr. This is the exact same argument Greenwald was making.
Well, here's the thing. Glenn Greenwald's embarrassed because he actually is the reason why Libs of TikTok was outed.
I know. He confirmed it to Taylor.
Yes.
Taylor's the doxer. Taylor's the one who, this poor innocent person who is coordinating with different government officials and is working with the Babylon Bee and other right-wing organizations. She just did a little bit of journalism. That's the doxing, as opposed to, his confirmation of it, which was the thing that actually made it clear.
I mean, maybe it was a foreign influence campaign straight from the streets of Brazil, because it seems like Glenn Greenwald is the one who's behind the doxing, quote unquote, of Libs of TikTok. Taylor told me straight up that she went to the house just to confirm it was that Chaya Raichik, because there's multiple people with that name, Chaya Raichik, and she went to the house, did not get any info from the person at the door, left, was very polite, left, and she was ready to, she was looking over the report. She said she had language in the report that, was very, she called language that wasn't super, maybe it wouldn't even run. And Glenn Greenwald then that night tweets, Taylor Lorenz went to Libs of TikTok's house, a relative's house, and Taylor said that was it. That was the confirmation. That was all she needed to tie it all together and take out any language that was not confirming of it.
Look at that just genius stuff. And that's DeSantis spokeswoman is Christina Pushaw, right? That's her name?
Yes, that's who it is. Yes.
And I've been following her for. She's actually how I found out about this story. and found out that I liked that it happened because I started following her like a few weeks ago because she's just this nasty Nazi that's pushing this LGBT stuff, this groomer stuff all over the place. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame to see Glenn protect people like Ron DeSantis' spokespeople because he's implicated in being like a godfather of this account. What did he say? He loved it or something like that?
Oh no, he literally tweeted that he is the godfather of that account. That was his exact words. Yeah, and he also.
Culture, I'll just say, let me just butt in real quickly. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
This is like par for the course for what I've observed for Greenwald like the last decade. He's always been in the contributing to these nasty this nasty type of culture, and then feigning like principle that it's actually just to make sure people can be heard and free speech and stuff like this. But this is the type of people that he goes to bat for.
I mean, his Dave Rubin arc is fairly complete because thankfully he can be a voice on the right wing who is married to a man who can defend these homophobic attacks on LGBTQ members of American society and then pretend there's some moral principle based on free speech ascribed to it so that it cloaks the complete immorality of the position in some artificiality.
I will say
I should also mention. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention this too. That Glenn recently came out and said something like, he doesn't see the vitriol towards gay people from the right like he does from the left, and specifically said how the word groomer he sees thrown around by the left and not so much on the right. This account, Libs of TikTok, is literally the reason why that word has had a huge uptick on the right, and they've adopted it as their new slur for people. This account accuses everyone of being a groomer for simply literally being LGBTQ. And I should say, a lot of the attention has gone on what this the Libs of TikTok account has done to LGBTQ teachers, because that's their recent sort of path. That's what they're doing now. I guess they found that that's more palatable to people than what they were previously doing, which was literally actually putting LGBTQ youth themselves on blast, literally sending harassment to young LGBTQ people on TikTok for their videos, making fun of them for like the color of their hair or how they dress. Here, pull this tweet that I found that they had since deleted to see what this account does, because the right claims they just pull videos from TikTok and let the libs speak for themselves. Pull up this tweet so you can see what the Libs of TikTok account really does.
Where is that? Oh. Sorry, just give me 1 second to transfer it from computer.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I can read it. No problem. So basically, they quote tweeted a tweet from the Trevor Project, which is a suicide prevention organization that has a hotline for LGBTQ youth. And the Trevor Project tweet was basically just how LGBTQ teens can contact Trevor Project securely without, being outed to their parents or whomever they're trying to, whoever they're being harassed by. And the Libs of TikTok account quote tweeted that tweet from the Trevor Project and said the Trevor Project is a grooming organization. Called them a grooming organization.
They want trans and gay kids to die. I mean, like, let's be real here. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they want. For real.
Yeah. Sorry, Brandon, can you...
They also attack, I'm sorry, but they also attack, I've seen them attack. There was a video from a woman who's on the Trillbillies where, she was involved with some sex ed camp for older teens or something like that, like over Zoom. And they attacked her for running this camp, claiming that she was trying to groom young children. And then they attack the trans story time events at public libraries. But remember, their whole spiel is that they out these people because parents should have a say over their children, which I guess works in their, demented worldview for public schools. But how does it work with the trans storytime hour and this Trillbillies sex camp education Zoom class, when those are things that the parents would have to sign them up for. In reality, they don't want the parents to have a say over any of this. Yeah. They want to have a say over this. They do not want LGBTQ people to exist. Children, teachers, anyone. They want them eradicated.
Brandon, sorry, I just wanted to give you an opening, but that was an epic rant by Binder. So
no, it's good for the context because, you know, from my perspective, I spend a lot less time on Twitter, which is no shade to anybody, but if, you know, at the sort of broad strokes, it feels like the right wing like props up a new villain every week. There's like a new trending right wing villain account every week that is being propped up by, you know, the typical suspects, you know, right wing content creators as a way to like ventriloquize their more base id desires, you know, some account that's like, you know, more transparent in what they're about, and they just do the retweet quote tweet game where like, yeah, you know, I'm not really taking responsibility for what everything this account says, but I think this is funny, or I think it's, you know, cute, or I think it's, you know, it's an account worth watching, stuff like that, so that they have this level of, you know, plausible deniability when people come out and go like, well, aren't you just like anti-trans, or aren't you just like, you know, anti-gay? They can go like, no, I just retweet that stuff 99% of the time. You know, I just retweet, you know, that's no indication of my personal politics, because retweets aren't endorsements, you know, like childish games like that, where you can like craft an entire platform around like criticizing things that you clearly do not like. But as long as you never like outwardly say, well, I'm right wing, you get plausible deniability. And accounts like that provide that. And then, you know, they also provide a vehicle to pretend like the left, you know, in really broad strokes, the left is some kind of anti-empathy, anti-working class part of the political spectrum, because they go after accounts like this. You know, they go after people who have been, you know, maybe not this person, but I think Barry Weiss has like a canceled corner section of her newsletter that is all about these people who have been convinced to, you know, due to alienation, due to right-wing propaganda, to alienate themselves further from their social circles, from their jobs, etc., by being like, you know, the person in real life who spews right-wing hate. And when people react, obviously, how they would react to that in real life, you know, they get to pretend like, oh, look at just this random everyday person who I've been promoting for the past 2 weeks. The left hates people like this who just want to, you know, share their normal ideas and be normal online. And it's just like, it's such a transparent game that it's really just unfortunate for the people who actually fall into that level of conspiracy and propaganda that like end up just being used as like the weekly monster of the week for the right wing to prop up and then discard 2 months down the road when they're no longer like profitable or no longer what's trending. And then they're just left to pick up the pieces of their life if they can, or they just fall into QAnon or whatever. Yeah.
I want to focus or bring back to what Binder said about when Greenwald was talking about how you actually see a lot of the grooming stuff come from the liberal left. And I wonder how Alex Morse feels about that, right? Which, like, that really gives the game away, is what Glenn's interested in doing, is bullshit in a way that hurts the left. Because that was a case where a young, more left challenger was smeared by the centrist Democrats. So again, it was once again coming from the right. But also, has Bolsonaro Liam on Twitter posts this. For some reason, Glenn Greenwald has changed his view on anonymous outlets that harass and defame people and try to get them fired. And this is just a tweets from Glenn. Look at how disgusting this. It's always interesting when Glenn uses his adjectives.
Yeah.
Look at how disgusting this Canary Mission website is. The people who run it are the worst cowards, hiding behind anonymity. But they publish names of students and professors they claim are, quote, racist due to Israel criticism.
And that was in 2018.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing to know about Greenwald is he's a bullshitter and doesn't care about consistency.